I saw a documentary once, animal wildlife thing about a chimpanzee, a mother chimpanzee, who had two babies. And one of these babies would ride around on her back all through the forest. The other baby, she held in her arm like this. Everywhere she went and everything that she did, she would hold that baby because the baby was stillborn. Baby had died or was dead when it was born. She'd try to nurse it, everything. She loved her baby. And she carried it around for, I think it was like maybe even close to a week, if not a little more. It was very, very sad. One day, she was in a tree on this big branch, and she finally set the baby down on the branch. And you could see she was coming to the realization that there was nothing she could do for this baby. The baby was literally dead weight. And she had to focus her time and energy on her surviving baby. So she set it down and she walked away slowly. She came back. She couldn't do it. She sat down next to it. And she probably did that a couple times till finally the cameras caught her kind of walking away, looking over her shoulder, very, very slumped over, very sad. You know, people that say animals don't have emotions, bullshit. Yes, they do. It was horrible to watch. But sometimes that's what you have to do when you have dead weight, something that's just, there's nothing you're going to be able to do for it. You need to maybe kind of cut that out of your life. And we can look at a lot of other circumstances in our own lives where we've got some dead weight in our lives that we need to cut out and focus on what actually is thriving and what is surviving, what's good and what's positive. This is one of my crazy analogies. Maybe not so crazy, but it's basically how I'm feeling right now about Elmo ERC and MMA. Elmo ERC, just a little quick history, right? It launched, a lot of hype. I came into it about 4 days after it launched. People were really, it was a meme coin. Everybody recognized Elmo. There were already a bunch of memes out there about Elmo. It did really, really well. It shot up, it shot down, it shot back up again. Made it up to 3 cents. The narrative at that time was this will be the first meme coin to reach $1. And that was pushed like crazy. Well, that narrative has since gone by I'm looking at the wrong camera. It's since gone by the wayside. You don't really hear that. You haven't heard that for a while. And when you look at the chart, you can clearly see that since that high of like 3 cents, it has basically continually come back down. Lower highs and lower lows, which is exactly what we don't want to see, but it's unfortunately what we have. This is a daily chart. Currently, Elmo is sitting at 0.002. Quite far away from the 3 cents that we were at, and almost impossibly away from $1. I don't see the dollar narrative ever coming back for Elmo. Elmo, again, continuing with the little bit of history, the developers, the creators of Elmo, I have said from the beginning, and I hold to, bunch of really good, talented, well-intended guys. Elmo Fodev, right? One of the best I've ever seen. You've got, was Master Elmo at one point, now is rebranded to Elmoshi, which still has the Elmo in it, but kind of moved away from it a little bit. It's not as direct. Who is, again, another really, really good guy, very knowledgeable, been in the crypto for quite a while. Very articulate, great to talk to. He's kind of the face and the voice of the project. Elmo Architect, who, again, very, very good with the 3D rendering stuff, making all these characters and all that. I mean, and there are a few other people on the team, all of which are really, really good guys. You never have ever had to worry about them just rugging and leaving and, you never hearing from them again. those aren't the guys, right? You have been able to count on that they'll do whatever they can possibly do to keep things alive and keep things moving. They've come out of their pocket with some things to spur development and such, and they continue to build even for Elmo. But there was then when they decided that they were going to come out with MMA Meme Alliance. Basically, I'm not sure what this is here. Basically, there were a lot of people in the community who had an issue with that. And they said, well, all right, so basically you're abandoning Elmo and you're just going to focus on this other thing. And they said, no, absolutely not. That's our baby. We love it. It is the Elmo ERC ecosystem. And MMA is just the first of maybe even many other coins that we will launch under the Elmo ERC ecosystem. Well, that narrative also has gone by the wayside. And this is very clearly, whether it's being verbalized or not, this is very clearly now the Meme Alliance ecosystem. And there are a couple different reasons why Elmo has, I'm just going to say it, at this point, failed, right? Not dead. Not dead. I'm not going to say dead. You can never say dead, right? Still has a couple tricks up its sleeve, maybe. But so far, has kind of been a failure. There's a couple different reasons for it from my perspective. And let me tell you what they are. One, there are a number of whales, if you will, people that are holding tremendous amounts of Elmo ERC. And they're holding it hostage. Because every time there is a little bit of a pump, they will dump and bring the chart right back down. And they're in large part responsible for it being down as low as it is. They still hold tremendous amounts of Elmo ERC. And this is always a major problem with any project, really. When you have someone who is holding, or multiple people who are holding large percentage of your project, there's always the risk that they can dump on you. And these people have been doing it consistently. There are some other whales who have held, and they've definitely sold, but they've sold more responsibly. They've been more careful not to affect the chart, but these other people, they just don't care. And they still have some, right? So that's been a huge, huge reason why we've continued to go down, down, down. And there's nothing the team can do about that. Because even if they had the money to come out of their own pocket, to put in, to raise the price back up again, it would just become exit liquidity, and these people would dump, and the price would go back down, and they will have lost all their money. And, you can't expect anybody to do that, right? They've got families. They're not going to do that. I don't expect them to. So there's really nothing that they can do. All they've been able to do, we've continued with the burns, right? We're currently sitting at, where is it? I forgot where it was. Oh, the circulating supply, 247.28 million. That's way down, right? We still have some more that we can go. But that's all they can really do is keep burning and keep lowering the supply to try to hold some bit of value for this thing, right? Another thing that they have been able to do, and they're continuing to do, is, there are still utilities that are coming out. This lottery thing, which I'm not sure how much it'll help Elmo or whether it helps MMA. I don't know. You've got staking. You've got a few different things, right? The DEX aggregator is coming. All these things are coming, which could potentially help Elmo to some degree. But the main idea, I'm going to say, is, right, again, from my perspective, and I've kind of heard it here and there, is that Elmo is what Elmo is right now. There's nothing we can do about Elmo. MMA is very promising. MMA is going to do well, and when MMA goes up, it will drag Elmo with it. Elmo will be able to be used as a currency in the game, in the marketplace, all those kind of things, right? I cannot, and I would not recommend anybody buy Elmo or anything else under the premise that it will do good by something else dragging it up with it. That is a piss poor trading strategy. And if that's how you're trading emotionally. You're not trading with your head, right? And that's kind of what we're relying on a little bit right now with Elmo. It's horrible. I haven't wanted to make this video. I just have not wanted to make this video because I didn't want to talk about these things, but I have to keep reminding myself that what I tell everybody, if I'm going to keep my word is that my responsibility is always to the community, is to honesty, and is to giving you my honest opinion. And even if sometimes that might come off as FUD, so people are going to want to call it, it might come off as a betrayal or whatever. No, it's just me being honest about what's happening. Sometimes things go exactly the way we want them to. Sometimes they really don't, right? So far, this one, Elmo, is not going anywhere near what we expected it to, and I don't see how it gets there. But that's me. That's my perspective. Feel free in the comment section to correct me, to prove me wrong, to give me reasons why things that I'm not thinking of or whatever. Feel free to do that, right? But that's where we are, in my opinion, right now with Elmo. It's not doing well. 0.002 is really, really low. And I hate to see it, and I hate to say it, but that's the case. So, good news, however. Maybe some good news. Looking at MMA, and again, the daily chart, we've got a bit of a different story here. See if... Actually, let me go back to Elmo for a second, right? And I want to give you some of the another reason why I don't think Elmo, or a reason why I think Elmo hasn't really done that well. Okay, we talked about the whales that are kind of holding it hostage and selling every time it pumps. Another thing is this: you have to look at meme coins, right? Let's look at the popular ones, the ones that have been very successful, and there are really only a handful of them, and most of them, you got the same guy kind of leading the charge, right? And I'm talking about the Pepe and the Pond and the Pork, right? And Polly. So, a proven strategy for meme coins is hype, 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 and more hype. What Elmo does not have, has never had, and maybe won't ever have, is that front guy, is that cult leader, right? Who is so charismatic and is in such touch with the youth and with the people who are actually buying this stuff, right? Knows how to play everybody and how to really push the hype train. Elmo doesn't have that, because that person calls to them a community that is diehard. A community that is there every single time you do a Twitter space. A community that is there every time you tweet something out. We're talking hundreds and thousands of people that instantaneously are hanging on your every word, right? That's what when you have a meme coin that doesn't have anything else going for it, or even sometimes if it does have other things going for it, that is essential. Elmo doesn't have that. Never had it. I don't know that it ever will. And it's a main reason why it really hasn't gone anywhere. Because if it had that, if it had a community, and let me apologize ahead of time, but I'm just going to be brutally honest. The community with Elmo ERC is lazy. It's just not a good community. I'm sorry. It's not a good community. Yes, there's a handful of people in the Telegram room or whatever who are diehard, who are sleepless, who are tireless with trying to shill this thing and push it and staying positive and all the rest of that. But a handful is never going to do it, particularly a handful of people nobody's ever heard of, right? It's just not going to happen. This community, though, they don't show up for AMAs. They don't show up for Twitter spaces. They don't show up for retweeting and engaging and replying and stuff like that to anything that's put out there. They don't show up, right? We don't have that leader that inspires that kind of community. And so without community, a meme coin will look like this. And it's what we have right now. Okay. All right. Now I'll go back over to Meme Alliance. Now, Meme Alliance doesn't necessarily rely on that. It's a different animal. It's GameFi, right? GameFi all by itself already has its following, already has a bit of a pump in its place in crypto, which is increasing and getting more and more popular, right? So Meme Alliance doesn't need that person out front going rah rah and bringing everybody to it. The game itself, first person shooter game, built on Unreal Engine 5, right? Unbelievable graphics, plays like Call of Duty. All of these things that it has going for it in itself will get everybody's attention, will get people's attention. The fact that, and this was genius, I wish they had started with this. The fact that they are bringing other communities in and implementing other characters from other communities, whether the communities are there or not, they're implementing characters, right, into the game that basically will put it before a bunch of other eyes, right? And it'll hopefully help other people to want to come in and see what's going on, maybe play the game, whatever. You can actually use those currencies in the game. You can use them in the lottery. You can use them for staking. I mean, this is where the bread and butter is. This is the baby chimpanzee, alive, thriving, hanging on the back, nursing, growing. This is the one, right? This is the one. This is where we're at. So MMA is about to release its beta, the second version of the beta, which is now an online version. And you'll be able to, not only everybody will be able to play, and you'll be able to play against other people online. They've really fine-tuned it from what they're saying so that you don't have to have some super duper gaming computer to play this game and to really, take advantage of the nice graphics and the game playability and all those things, right? So this thing should do fairly well, right? We're going to see. But I believe it should. Will it pull Elmo with it to a degree? Okay, maybe it will. But again, I can't. I just can't really get on board with keep Elmo, hold Elmo, buy Elmo, because eventually it'll come up because of MMA. I mean, why not just go right to the source, right? And I think that's kind of what everybody's kind of doing, whether they want to verbalize it or not. I think it's pretty much the focus right now. I don't see anything wrong with that necessarily, but people need to be aware of it, or at least make their own opinion as to whether that's what they think is going on or not. You can do that on your own. But anyway, this isn't a video I've really wanted to make. It really isn't. Because I had all the best hopes for me, for Elmo ERC, and I still have a little bit of hope. I'm still carrying that baby a little bit. But I don't know at what point it's going to get to in that chart where I'm just going to have to put that baby down on the branch and say, yeah, I guess I'm out of here, right? All right, y'all. This was a tough one. I know a lot of you are going to call it FUD, but understand, I've said this a million times, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, everybody should have. It's been billed as your enemy. It's been billed as something negative, something like that people use it to try to tear down projects, and I understand that some people do that. But if you are not trading with a certain amount of fear, a certain amount of uncertainty, and a certain amount of doubt, if you are just aping into everything, you don't really have to look far to find the reason why you're not getting anywhere, okay? You have to be careful about what you invest in. You cannot invest in things. You cannot hold on to things for emotional reasons. That is not trading. I don't know what that is. That's, I need friends. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it's not trading. Smart trading. Trade with your head. Trade with what you see happening. Use your intuition. Use whatever information is at your resources, right? Whatever you can find at your fingertips. And that's how you should trade. So I will leave that at that. And yeah, I'm sorry to those of you who are probably going to be very mad at me about this, but I think inside everybody knows it anyway. So, all right. Talk to y'all later. Ciao.